Hello, Raves. Hello, Ravens. Hi, Ravens. Hi, dudes. Hi, dudes. Hello, there, dudes. So I got home today and there's a giant box on my porch. You know, you've done something when it requires a box this big. Shall we see what's inside? So I had to pay a little bit more for the CAPA certified, but it's certified by an outside organization that it fits. Alright, so it's been a few weeks since the quarter panel got delivered, and I want to hang it right off of that so that I can paint it right here. So it's 72 degrees today, end of December, which is typical for North Carolina. So it seems like a perfect day to paint. Let's get this thing cleaned up and hung up. Alright, I got it hanging. Gonna have to leave the garage door closed a little bit. That's alright. So I'm not sure if you can see that, but I used MIG welding wire. That stuff's really strong. So I've got this thing pointed face down. Not sure if that's a great idea because I've got this surface here that I need to paint as well. But so now I need to protect, you know, I got kayaks behind it. So let's look at my little bag of goodies here. So I've got microfiber cloths. Can't really find tack cloths anymore, but this is supposed to work. I've got some 600 grit sandpaper. And then I've got this paper plastic drop cloth. So the spray paint tends to flake off of plastic. So I'm hoping that this paper surface won't allow the paint to flake off. Here's what I've done. I use a little bit of duct tape and some staples, and it's going into a piece of wood, just a scrap piece of wood. And that leaves me with a couple feet out this way and a couple feet out this way. And I'm going to try and hang this thing somewhere up behind this. Alright, that took entirely way too long. I had to hang a 2x4 off the ceiling. And I've got screws with more wire hanging up the two ends. There's that screwed in there. And over here again, more welding wire on a screw into the ceiling. But that's pretty nice. Alright, let me show you with some oblique lighting. I don't know if you can see that. It's really kind of splotchy. You see how it's not very consistent in sheen? From everything I saw online, that's okay. That's actually the way you want it. The first coat is going to be real splotchy. It's subsequent coats that really give you the consistent color. Alright, here is the second coat. We're still kind of splotchy, but you can definitely see some sheen to it. Well, I run out of paint. It looks really splotchy. It's supposed to be gloss. I mean, it's glossy. I just sprayed some of that though, so that might be just solvent. That's, I mean, I don't know. I guess the only thing to do is put some clear coat on it. All right, getting ready for my 2-part clear coat. It's the little red caps over here to the side, but it has the little bladder in the bottom. But, yeah, that's what I like to see. This dog's gonna get high. Now, before the YouTube safety police come and get me, respirator, eye protection, and gloves. I'm all good. Second coat of clear coat. We're looking pretty good. Just sprayed, so it hasn't finished flashing off. I've definitely got some texture. From what I'm told, that will go away. I'm still pretty thin. We're gonna let this finish flashing off. We'll hit it with several more coats, I'm sure, until I get a nice smooth finish that I'm happy with. It looks pretty good on camera, but I tell you, you get up close. There you go. Now you can see some of that orange peeling. I mean, that I think I can make do with, but that just seems a lot. And like there's just not enough. I'm completely out of clear coat, or I would just spray more. Gosh, it's really spotty right through there. Man, I don't know. I think I need more clear coat, but nothing to be done about that today, so I'm done. Several days later now, this is my second can of clear coat. I've got myself a little sanding block, nice and smooth. I've got myself some 600 sandpaper. There you go, 600 grit. I'm gonna knock it down, rough it up a little bit, and then we'll spray on some more clear coat. So I got it good and roughed up now. Didn't really try to take out any of the texture. The wood block ended up not working very well, so I used one of these foam blocks and wrapped my 600 around it and just made sure that the 220 there wasn't visible. Worked really well, and then I came in for some areas just by hand, just keying this up so the new clear coat will stick. Now I need to wipe off all of the powder, make sure I've got a good, clean, dry surface. So to do that, we're going to use these microfibers. All right, I think I'm done. I just finished spraying. You can see there's a little bit of texture still, but the last time I did this, I had a little bit of texture like this, and it all smoothed out. So I want you guys to see, there is absolutely, unequivocally texture in this clear coat. And this is a stock Jeep clear coat. So this is the panel that we're going to be replacing. You can see quite a bit of a little damage here, but almost certain it didn't damage anything below it. Okay, so let's cut some zip ties. Gorilla tape is the bomb. That's been holding that marker in this whole time. Alright, 3 bolts, and the whole fender support and a liner comes away. So now we need to go through and start taking off some of these bolts in order to remove this broken quarter panel. And there's some bolts down here, so we're gonna have to take this running board off as well. All right, so we need to take this panel off of the old quarter panel. So I'm using some welding wire, going through a couple of blocks. Welding wire sure is useful. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take off this cover plate, 6 bolts, and then this cover plate also, 2 bolts here, 2 bolts over there. Alright, so underneath this panel are a couple of bolts that we need to pull out. Not sure if you can see those down there. In order to remove this panel, you have to remove the windshield wiper. And I've tried. Well, I took the bolt off and I tried pulling it off, and I don't want to break anything. I think that I can hold this up just enough to get my ratchet down there and get those 2 bolts loose. So that's what I'm going to do. So we got the running board off, and I ended up having to take out every single bolt on this, but now that whole thing just drops out. We've got clearance holes in our quarter panel, so we've got a couple holes here, a couple of bolts here to take out, some along here, then along the top of the roof. All right, I should have all the bolts taken loose. This is the antenna mount, so we'll need to see what's on the other side of that. Let's give this a little tug. And there's not much room in there at all. Doesn't look like there's any kind of connector on there, unless it doesn't look like it pull out. We may need to hang this up and see where that antenna wire goes on the other side. All right, guys, so if you pop the little cover off, then it's just a regular old socket, just an antenna socket that goes in the back of it. This one was corroded on pretty good. I had to use some deoxit, but it just popped right off. So now we can pull this quarter off. Quarter panel's been pulled off. You can see here, I mean, this is really strong. It wasn't that hard of a hit. So I don't see anything wrong here. That's bent a little bit, but you know what? These things are incredibly expensive, and that doesn't bother me that much. It'll be covered up. No one will see it. But everything else here looks good. Dirty, but don't see any big problems. Now, before this one goes to the pile, we're going to reuse the hood latch. So just 1 bolt on the back side here. We'll get this off. Let's go ahead and get the hood latch placed onto the new quarter panel. Tighten that up, and then we can take this out and hang it on the Jeep. Alright, so I got most of the bolts in. None of them are tight. The whole panel can move. I still need to do these 2. But this door line, that's no good. So now what I need to do, all of them are loose. I need to come in and start lining up body line. We got the body line pretty well lined up. I still need to do this, get it down in position. But I started looking at the hood, and I had to pound out this because it wasn't enough. And then the latch was too tight, and I may have broken it. Alrighty, we got the quarter panel all put back together here. Everything's bolted in, the antenna, the running board. Now we just have to figure out the fenders. And we're gonna order new ones. I drilled a hole right there. We're just gonna wire this down. So let's see about getting some fenders on this thing. Well, daylight got away from me, but the new fenders are in. I really like the side marker lights underneath there. And man, you can't tell anything about that quarter panel here. The fenders look really good. I wonder if my wife is gonna notice. It looks pretty good to me. Uh-oh.
What'd you do to my Jeep? Why are there parts screwed all over the floor? All my stickers are gone.
But
I got new tire. Where'd my tires go? The bumper, it's got all that paint and all of the white stuff and what is this?